What up? It's your man, the old man Winter, back once again with a new episode of No Holds Barred. And before we get started, I want to start off with a small disclaimer. In no way am I advocating for harm to be brought upon this gentleman that's the subject of our broadcast tonight. Richard Strocher. I do not wish, I am not advocating for harm against you. But if something happens to you, I don't give no damns about it. I would care less if you drop dead tomorrow of a heart attack or somebody blowing your brains out. But I am not advocating for harm against you. The purpose of this video is for educational purposes and it's a thought experiment. So let's continue. What up? It's your man, the old man Winter. We're coming with a new episode of No Holds Barred. And the title of today's episode is Violence Has Its Place. Well, old man Winter, what do you mean by that? This gentleman scrolling through them dang on Twitter, X streets. Once again, the X has been getting me in trouble lately, so I might have to get off of there because it's just like the Wild West. It's just wide open. You come across anything on there. This young Bally, this young white supremacist, I come across his post where he thought it was a good idea to post a picture of himself in a shirt saying "Niggas for Trump 2024." And his caption reads, "This might seem controversial, but I truly believe it is a great message and deserves a fair shot. I support the black community 100% and completely believe we're all in this together. This isn't a joke. Let's do this together and not let words tear us apart. Are you with me?" So if you didn't get it or you didn't guess it, everything he said is completely disingenuous. He's being sarcastic. He's being facetious. He's there's no truth in what he's saying. He doesn't want to have He doesn't support the black community. He's an anti-black white supremacist racist that believes it's okay to go around disrespecting black people, putting on t-shirts saying "niggas for Trump" and all this other BS. It's just quite obvious that this guy's an anti-black racist, hardcore racist to the core. Only a hardcore racist would disrespect the black community in such utter blatant fashion. I'm going to say my rebuttal to what this gentleman had to say. I reposted his picture with this caption: "This is why violence has its place, even in so-called civilized society. The threat of violence is the cornerstone of a system with checks and balances. Otherwise, rampant line crossing and disrespect will remain unchecked and reach levels that are out of control." So what I say is self-explanatory, but I'll go even further in what I mean by that. You have to have something to motivate people to behave in a civilized manner. If there's no checks and balances, a la violence, because violence is one of the premier ways to motivate people to not do things or to do things. So, absent the threat of violence, when you have people that have no way to enforce people to respect them, treat them a certain kind of way, do behave in a manner that they would want people to behave towards them, or anything of the above. To garner respect, you have to have something backing you up. Basically, you have to have some backup. And black people, American black people, have no backup. That's why we're easy target in the eyes of the white supremacists. We're the low hanging fruit that they could pick on any day of the week. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. There's no pushback. There's nothing because we don't have a system to force people to give us respect in any way, shape, or form. Hence, you have random white supremacists just posting ridiculous stuff, doing whatever they want to do, treating us any type of way we want to, lynch us, hang us from trees, and tell us we committed suicide. Have um uh, a literal serial killer massacre of black people in Mississippi with a whole graveyard of unmarked graves behind a police station, and nothing happens. No FBI investigation. The world don't turn on his head. Nothing happens. Guys, one of these other horror stories I heard, a guy would go out with a group of white women to where they lure him to a sundown town. He's found dead in a river a couple of days later, a mile away from his car, with his clothes butt naked, with his clothes, him butt naked and dead in the river, a mile away from his car, with his clothes like another mile away from even that area. And they say he committed suicide. You know, there again, we don't have any enforcement. We don't have nothing backing us up, and that's why I say violence has its place. I'm not advocating for violence. I'm saying the violence and the threat of violence is how you garner respect in this country and in this world. And absence of threat of violence, you get no respect. You get nothing. You get no accommodations. You don't get the you have no protection. If you don't have that threat of something happening to somebody, if they do this, that, or the third, if they cross this line, that line, there's going to be a consequence. There's going to be something happen to you. It's going to be something happen to your family member. It's going to be something happen to whoever. Absent that, we get this type of stuff. And it will get worse. This is just the beginning. Remember, Elon Musk, he just opened up the floodgates for these white supremacists on Twitter to be able to express how they feel freely and openly, call black folks niggas, and do little stupid little stunts like this. You know, this is the beginning. This is the start, not the end. This will escalate because we have no way to stop it. We have no way to check it. We have no way to force people like Richard Strocher to not treat black people in such a disrespectful manner. He knows nothing is going to happen to him. He knows he can walk freely down the street without any security, without anything. He can walk freely down the street with that shirt on, without any security, through a black neighborhood, without any security, without anything. And he knows he's covered by the protection of his whiteness. Black people, ain't nobody gonna touch him. Ain't no black people gonna use people in common sense. Oh, go to Chicago, go to this place. He knows that ain't nobody gonna do nothing to him. This is why he's doing it. Again, he's a white supremacist. He knows the power dynamics in this country. We have no checks and balances to make people respect black people in this country or in this world. Because we don't have that threat of violence to force people like this man to think twice before he pulls a little stunt like this. Because guess what? If things were fair and balanced, people that pull stunts like this, he would be in fear of his life. He would walk around with security all the time. He would be afraid to walk down the streets of Chicago. But in reality, he knows he can get away with whatever. And what makes it even worse, this guy's profile says he works for Fox News and The Blaze, and he has his own show on Rumble, which we know Rumble is like Twitter now. It's like the Wild West, you know. You could say a dude, you could be a white supremacist, whatever. We know that. But Fox News, this is supposed to be a legitimate. We know it's the right wing and all that, but to have just open white supremacists on your platform, Fox News, you have somebody that's an open white supremacist working for your company, Fox News, The Blaze. I don't know too much about The Blaze, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not sure is it on TV or is it another internet program or what, but he has it under the header like it's, a legitimate organization. Now, this is the type of scum that you all are hiring at Fox News and The Blaze. People that's going around disrespecting black folks, talking about niggas for Trump 2024, and thinking it's all good and cool and cute. Again, that's because it's an absence of a threat of violence. And that's just the long and the short of it. As long as black people are powerless in this country, things will get worse and worse and worse. As long as there's no fear of any uh, action being taken, any retaliation, anything, again, it goes down here for me. It gets nothing but worse. This is just the beginning. This is the Elon Musk let open the floodgates for these people to get on social media and say and do whatever they want. The white people, because trust and believe, when black people try to say and do whatever they want, it's still so much of a plantation. You can't say and do what you want. You know what I'm saying? Because we're powerless. We have nothing to back up anything we got going on. Because of that, Elon Musk can set up a system where there is no checks and balances, even on his X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, where the white supremacists disrespect us all day. And if we even say half of the things back to them that they say to us, we're getting all type of strikes and shadow bans and all type of your page removed and all type of stuff going on. So again, until that power dynamic changes, which the white supremacists do everything within their power to make sure the power dynamic never changes in this country. Until that power dynamic changes, we are powerless to stop these white supremacists from getting down just like this. Just open and blatant disrespect. Like I say, lynchings and just policies. We have no policies put in place for us, while they issue everybody else policy, legislation, tangibles, all of the above. Any other group, black people are completely ignored. We just had Kamala Harris going to Selma for the little annual walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And she gave a speech where she didn't even talk about black people, even though black people were the victims and suffered on there, and that's what they were supposed to be commemorated. She ignored black people and talked about the damn war in Israel and talked about Gaza. Again, when you're powerless, when you don't have that threat of violence backing up what you standing on, they can ignore you. You are nothing to them. They can trample all over you anytime that they get ready to. They can wake up one day and say, hey, you niggas, I'm going to show you how low you are and how much I can just do whatever I want to you and nobody's going to do anything about it. This man's post been up for 2-3 days now. There hasn't even been there isn't even a threat of it coming down. He did what he wanted to do. He knows nobody's going to do anything about it. He knows nobody can do anything about it. And he's going to go back on Fox News and go back on the Blaze and go back to his little show, and his life ain't even going to have a speed bump. Nobody's even going to even say a cross word to this man, you know what I'm saying, for what he's done. He just did a little publicity stunt, which it gets a bunch of black people up in arms, and still nothing is going to happen. Won't face any consequences. Even if we did all try to report it or we all tried to go to Fox News and stuff, I doubt they'd even bring this man in for a meeting about the stuff. Other than to say, hey, yeah, that's the way Yeah, that you showed them niggas. Yeah, 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 buddy. Yeah, guy. Yeah, way to stick it to them niggers. Again, you shooting fish in a barrel, dude. You know, you might be thinking you stunning or doing something spectacular, but you are aiming your vitriol at people that can't fight back. You know, we don't have a whole army that's behind us and the whole criminal justice system behind us. All of this stuff has been created to hold us down. It's not for us, it's for you. It's for people that's with the complexion for the protection. You know, maybe you became an extreme white supremacist because your mama liked the old BBC and you know old Uncle Tyrone used to come through and go in the room with your mama, you know what I'm saying, and pat you on the head and go in there, you know, you heard that bedboard rocking, you know what I'm saying, for a couple hours, and you got a little upset because your mom probably left your dad and because she had a hankering for a little bit of BBC in her life. Or maybe it's your girlfriend or your sister like to wrap them lips around some good old BBC. But whatever it is, you know, you woke up one day and decide you're just going to disrespect black people for no reason at all. But again, I can crack jokes, I can talk trash, I can talk about how much your mama like BBC, which I'm pretty sure she does. But at the end of the day, you are with the white supremacist power structure. We have no power structure backing us up. And we don't have the people in amongst our ranks to go and do anything about people that get down like you when they do the things you do. So again, you know, just to conclude this matter, like I said, sometimes violence is necessary. Violence has its places in a civilized society. Um, this entire society, America was built on violence. You know, America was created through violent means. It was a violent conquest of this entire land in order for these white supremacists to take this thing over. And the reason why they take it over and they're able to hold it is due to the threat of violence. Why do you think America's their number one concern is having the strongest army in the world above all else, above money, above the well-being of the citizens, above everything else? The only thing America worries about the most is having the strongest military on the face of the earth. Because deep down, everyone knows that violence is necessary, and this country is still thriving off of violence and the threat of violence. We're perpetually at war at this point in time. America's violence is so intrinsic to our society that we're now perpetually at war at all times. We have troops somewhere in this world fighting somewhere, or subjugating some people somewhere, or doing nefarious deeds somewhere in this world at all times. Because they get it. How do you think they got the power? They understand how they got their power. They understand how to maintain their power. The key is violence at the end of the day. So don't never let these folks, and again, the only way black people will honestly ever be able to get what they deserve, from reparations to respect to real true equal rights, it's not going to come by these white folks like this guy just casually saying, well, we're going to decide to stop being racist now and give you everything that you want, put you on the same level as we are. That's not going to happen just of their own volition. Deep down inside, I believe all black people know that, or should know that. These people aren't going to give up their position of power without a fight. They aren't going to share power with us without a fight. The reason why the Jewish people have their own nation right now to even do whatever they're doing in Gaza and all of that stuff is due to the threat of violence. We had a bloody, violent war for these people to gain their freedom and get another and have their own nation established. And they received their reparations because of their violent war against the Germans and their allies that they won against. And when you beat somebody down and you the victor over somebody, you basically standing over them with your fist balled up saying, do what I say or you're going to get another. So the threat of violence forced Germany to pay the the Jewish people reparations. See how that works? They didn't just get reparations because the Germans just had an epiphany and just said, oh, we're just so wrong. We voluntarily want to give you these reparations. No. It was a threat of violence from the Allied nations that defeated them in war and forced them to pay reparations to the Jews. But we think the reparations for us is going to come in another way. They're just going to wake up one day and realize the error of their ways and just do it without anything forcing their hand. That's not how we got any of the civil rights laws passed. What we all know that they buried in the history books because they don't want to recreate it or repeat it. They buried the fact that a bunch of violent insurrections happened nationwide in this country that was a precursor to the president and Congress signing the civil rights laws in this country. They didn't just do it because they thought it was the right thing to do. It was because cities were burning. It was because people were dying. It was because of violent insurrection all across the country. The Civil Rights Bill wasn't even written into law and you know what I'm saying, solidified behind this is why they go overboard on talking about all the peaceful protests. The peaceful protest wasn't what got it done. It was the violence is what got it done. But America wants to bury that because guess what? If they can bury what really happened, then they feel like it won't happen again. Because we learned a lesson from those times to understand how we accomplished those things was through those violent actions, then there's a chance that we might repeat them and force them to do something else. Which I'm not sure why we haven't got that memo yet, why we haven't woken up to that fact yet for this generation. But I guess we haven't been pushed hard enough yet. But if they keep going in the direction of gentlemen like this guy right here, and like I say, this is the beginning, let's see how far it has to escalate before we do get on what they was on when they hit that powder keg during the time of the civil rights. And if we get on that, we need to get on it 10 times harder. But again, this is a thought exercise and this is for educational purposes. I'm not advocating for violence against this white supremacist piece of shit directly. But again, if you drop dead tomorrow or somebody blows his brains out, I don't give no shits about it. I'm just not advocating for violence against him or anybody else. This is just purely a thought exercise and for educational purposes only. So once again, it's your man's Old Man Winter signing out. Peace.